tight, let it flow, feels so right, here we go. Honda ATV gets ya where you wanna be. Honda ATV gets you where the fun is.
Honda makes a complete line of ATVs for doing all kinds of things, especially having all kinds of fun.
Honda ATV gets you where the fun is.
I wanted a project, but ooh, this one might be a little too far gone to save. Every component of value, rarity, or criticality is either rusty, cracked, or pilfered. Sheesh. Still, would you just look at it? I gotta have one. Ugh. Squishy. Still, the odds of finding another 37-year-old ATV that's rough enough that I can afford it, but nice enough that I can fix it within driving distance. Ooh, blue, I like that. Is slim to none. Oh, hello, beautiful. Sold! "15 years sitting in a barn. Hosed her off, stripped and poured 15 to the gas tank, pumped up the tires, evicted Mickey and Minnie from the air filter housing, dropped in a battery, and... check that out. The FourTrax story starts with one less wheel and a whole lot of trips to the hospital. Honda's three-wheeled ATC. With three-wheeled stability, zero rear suspension, and a solid rear axle, it tipped around tight corners unless the rider was smart enough to shift their weight around in the corner to compensate. But relying on the average American to ride with an abundance of caution is a dicey proposition at best. It was rear heavy, so it could also flip backwards going up steep hills. And all that rearward weight creates a momentum bias too, so if you caught too much air, it would also flip forwards. And ruts could totally toss it like a rag doll. Ruts that a two-wheeler could ride in or a four-wheeler could straddle would force you to submit to the laws of physics like a freshman on initiation night. All of these problems could have been solved with a fourth wheel and a little extra weight up front. In the spirit of entrepreneurship, third-party companies tried capitalizing on this criticism with expensive and cosmetically interesting front-end conversion kits. Manufacturers quickly adapted their lineups to four-wheelers, and in the year of our Lord 1985, Honda blessed us with the TRX 350, aka FourTrax 350, the company's first full-size, full-time four-wheel drive ATV. Tell me this isn't just a big red with an OEM front-end kit. I mean, I know it's not, but somebody tell me it's not. The TRX 350D followed in 1987. The D, of course, stands for Foreman, somehow, and came with some working man upgrades fitting the Foreman name, including front and rear racks, a juicy 310 watt alternator, an 80s-tastic Knight Rider themed fuel gauge, an hour meter, and an 850-pound towing capacity. Motivation comes from a 350 cubic centimeter 4-valve oil-cooled over-squared thumper with an electronically controlled oil cooling fan that doesn't turn on until it gets over 270 degrees American. And if you really overwork the old girls, they'll let you know with an idiot light at 378 degrees. I've given it to her hard in some really hot weather, and it's never turned on. Ironically, the only time I ever saw the idiot light was when I was plowing in a blizzard in January. So, go figure. Anyway, if the old fan locks up, the control module kills spark to save the engine from overheating. So, if you got no spark, give that fan a turn. Big 81mm bore, little 68mm stroke. 24.5 horsepower. Really, Honda? Couldn't get it to an even 25? All you had to do was lie. It's not like anyone was going to MacGyver a way to dyno one of these things. Unless it really makes 24 and the .5 is the exaggeration. The carburetor is a 31mm slide type variety with a plunger choke. Keep ethanol out of it and replace the O-rings every 20 years or so, and she'll fire up for you every time. That's assuming your electronical fuel pump works. Every Honda has to have one weak link, and as soon as that dies, it's getting a Mikuni pulse pump. The winch contactor inside the air filter housing is not stock, nor are the period-correct fart-in-the-wind heated grips, but there's not much storage room on here for add-ons. The Honda Foreman doesn't have much onboard storage for anything, really. That's all you get. It's not even enough for date night. If you're planning to bring your shotgun with you, you better get a shotgun rack, because otherwise your shotgun's going to end up riding, well. The so-called suspension uses a leading and trailing arm setup with hydraulic shocks and 5-way adjustable springs that can be adjusted anywhere from a block of wood to solid granite and everywhere in between. The manual claims 4.3 inches of suspension travel, and with a recommended tire pressure of only 2.2 pistons, you'd expect a Cadillac ride.
Wrong.
But men were tougher in the 80s, apparently. And this suspension has all the give of an inner-city middle school principal. Although, if you put a 140-pound whitetail on the back, it probably rides a lot better. Hose it off when you're done, though, would you? Deer blood is corrosive. The steering is power-assisted. No, it isn't. What the f***? The big squishy sidewalls absorb some speed differential in tight turns. On loose surfaces, it works fine, but on asphalt, it handles like a self-propelled snowblower. What?
What are you doing?
It's for YouTube.
Did you pull the little pin out?
It's for YouTube.
That stiff ride, combined with a high center of gravity and a solid rear end and permanent four-wheel drive, makes it quite tippy for a quad. This thing was expensive and I've got mouth to feed, so I won't be demonstrating. But here's an artist rendering of what happens if you make fast turns on a paved surface. Honda engineered this puppy with what I like to call Fiat features. Features to help you when you break down. Case in point, see this headlight? It's not just a headlight. We're living in 1987, a time of pie-in-the-sky marketing and bold ideas. This is a removable headlight. Remember, we didn't have smartphone flashlights back then, so if you need to find a loose wire or pop your spark plug wire back in at night, you're gonna need this. Remember how I said there was barely any onboard storage? Well, Honda found a place for you to stash a toolbox. Sort of. Pop off this hidden cover and you'll see Honda included a little pouch with the bare essentials. A combination screwdriver, Butt plug? Oh, tire pressure gauge. Spare spark plug. Spark plug wrench. In addition to electric start, if your battery dies, it's got this mechanical redundant kickstarter, which is the single worst kickstarter.
The pause is everything. In the world.
It has an overly enthusiastic compression relief, so it'll fire up if the engine is warm, but if it's been sitting out on a cold January night, get bent. But if the battery is so dead that it won't kick over, won't the electric fuel pump also be dead, you say? Nah. The pump runs on a low-duty cycle pulse signal from the ignition coil, not continuously, so it can run with a very weak battery. The gas cap is automatic, which I didn't know. You just twist it to open it up, and to close it, just push it down. I didn't realize that. I thought mine was broken and it wouldn't latch closed, so I put pliers on this knob and broke it right off. It's automatic, you moron. The transmission is a manually shifted 5-speed with an automatic wet clutch. Over 3 decades old, and listen to that. Reverse is locked out. It uses this cockamamie scheme where you push the red pin down, pull on the brake, and that allows you to pop it into reverse. Which is going to make you put your hand through the freaking wall if you're trying to plow or do a lot of 3-point turns. As with most of my problems, I fixed it using a zip tie. Because duct tape is bush league. Just wrap it around the button to hold it down permanently. There you go. Just squeeze the handle and you can go in and out of reverse easy. The whole damn gearbox is geared relatively low, but first gear is absurdly short at 4.1 to 1. It's useless in the context of personal transportation. There's no tachometer, but an experienced ear pins the safe top speed in first gear to 4 miles an hour. Second gear starts are cake anyway. The first gear is more of a towing gear, a pulling gear, a climbing, plowing gear. Top gear ain't much better. 0.9 to 1 gearing means the top speed is probably pathetic.
Tell you what, let's find out.
.36 miles per hour. The highest gear is 0.906 to 1. That's the problem. If you could gear this thing up, there's plenty more power to be had. But there's a reason Honda didn't. Remember that solid rear, full-time 4-wheel drive and high center of gravity? 36 is, I assure you, plenty. The Foreman uses a kingpin front end. It's tough as nails and perfect for taking abuse and harsh off-roading. You know who else uses a kingpin front end? Nope. Yep. You picking up what I'm laying down here? The trade-off is the 1987 Foreman has the handling and road manners of a dead tortoise, but when your namby-pamby Polaris Sportsman Hunt Edition breaks a ball joint, you can rest your laurels on its superior road manners, while you hobble out of the woods like that one scene in that old movie that... It's still real to me, damn it! With the Kickstarter from hell, a suspension made from repurposed Geodudes, commercial-duty road manners, and a manual powertrain made in the heart of a dying star. This is a tool, not a toy. You don't ride it, you wrangle it. It's more of a 4-wheel drive off-road tractor, and you can take your sporty pretensions and shove them up your tailpipe. Bright side is that 850-pound tow rating, even though the Foreman itself weighs less than 600. But be realistic, it's not the right tool to haul a full cord of bucked green ash out of the woods, right? If you need to tow that much weight, you need an actual tractor or pickup truck. There's a tool for every job and a job for every tool, and this is not the job for a 35-year-old ATV. It just isn't going to do it. The single lonely cylinder is the size of one of those fun-sized Walmart off-brand soda cans. It's not physically possible. Hey Siri, what does a cord of green ash weigh? Ugh, whoops. Maybe don't try that one at home. Thanks for watching. And hey, you didn't think I'd actually leave this behind, did you? I scored it cheap, and it's going to look awesome in my front lawn. The HOA is going to love it. I'm kind of tempted to see if I can get it running. Vice grip garage style. Let me know if you think I should bother. Down there. Please don't.